Good morning, everyone. There are some housekeeping instructions to all the participants of today's expert talk. Dear friends, do not unmute your mic during the expert talk. Please ensure that your mic is muted. If you have any questions, definitely we have kept the last 10 minutes of this expert talk reserved for the question and answer session. So with this housekeeping instruction. Now I would like to welcome today's resource person and the keynote speaker of today's expert talk, Professor Rajiv Bhandari sir, and all the participants. These participants, they are basically the students of second year Information Technology Department. So I welcome all of you for the today's expert talk on the circuit switch and the packet switch networking on behalf of Maratha Vidya Prasaraks KBT College of Engineering, Nashik. So I welcome you, all of you once again. So before we kickstart this expert talk, I feel it a great privilege to introduce the today's guest of honor, today's resource person rather, Professor Rajiv Bhandari sir. So Professor Rajiv sir, he is a professor in the computer department of SNJB's College of Engineering, Sandwad. He is having more than 11 years of experience. His research area is particularly in the computer network and the wireless sensor network. So he is having more than 11 years of experience. So he has filed patents. Recently, he has filed the patents, which is at the intellectual property of India in IoT-based smart garbage bin, and he has published more than 10 research papers in international journal, in international conference, in international journal and conferences, and many more. Okay, so he is also a life member of IEI, Institution of Engineer. He is also a member of Society of Digital Information and Wireless Communication, a life member of International Association of Engineers, a member of Computer Society of India, a life member of International Society for Research and Development, and he has delivered more than 6 expert talks as a keynote speaker on the diverse topic area like a blog creation using WordPress, intellectual property right, recent trends in the IoT, computer systems, cyber security and cyber terrorism, Internet of Things, and many more. So without wasting time, now I would like to request the Rajiv sir to please share your screen and sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Nitin Ujagre, sir, for giving me opportunity to interact with your students. Sir, shall I share my presentation?
Yes, sir. I will stop presenting and then you can present yourself.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have stopped presenting. You can share your screen now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, dear students, is the screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay. A very good morning to one and all. I am really fortunate enough to have interact with all of you, as you are the second year students, and in computer engineering, this is the third year students. Okay. So I am teaching this particular subject for third year students basically. And yesterday only Ujagre sir told me ki sir, this subject is now included in second year, and this is really the great initiative taken by SVPU to introduce this subject in second year. And this is really one of the wonderful subject, because when the whole world is stuck up due to COVID and all, and because of networking only, because of internet only, we people are able to interact with each other. Okay, that means though we are physically not meeting, but definitely we can interact with each other through the softwares and all the things. Okay, so that is really the importance of what computer network, and lot of revolutions nowadays are taking place in the computer network. Okay, I think so sir has already taught you about all the 6 layers and all, and the 2 basic layers are there, or 2 basic models are there in the computer network. Those models are nothing but OSI model and your TCP/IP model, right? Okay, and nowadays OSI is quite older one. That is absolute one nowadays. We can say like that, and TCP/IP plays a great role. Okay, so before starting with the sessions, let me just ask you some questions. If you are able to answer, then that will be the great help for me to deliver the next contents. Okay, so can anyone tell me which model or which OSI model is which networking model is the better option, OSI or TCP/IP?
Yes.
TCP/IP.
Student can
Why?
unmute their mic one by one. Yes, yes, yes. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So so why TCP/IP is the better option if we compare with OSI?
Sir, reliability.
Reliability. Okay. Anything else?
Sir, it's reverse feedback system.
Reverse feedback system. Okay. Reliability is also there in OSI, right?
No, sir, but data is being transmitted to the receiver. There is no feedback in OSI, but in TCP
Yeah,
there
but
is.
yeah, on transport layer, two different protocols are working. One is TCP and another one is UDP. If you go with TCP, then definitely you will get the acknowledgement. If you will go with UDP, then you will not get the acknowledgement, right? So that's why reliability and and unreliability, both the features are there in OSI as well as in TCP/IP. Okay. So just keep one thing in your mind. In OSI, total 7 layers are there. Okay. And because of 7 layers, as we have already studied encapsulation, and in encapsulation process, what happen on each and every layer, the headers are attached, headers and trailers. So what is headers and trailers? As we have already studied on physical layer. Okay. So multiple data is there in raw format. That means in the long stream of what? 010101. So when that particular data go to the next layer, that is the data link layer, your data of long stream of bits are converted into frames. वो उसके अंदर क्या बन जाता है? Frames बन जाता है. That means we are adding the sequence number, frame number as a header there, along with the flag bits as a trailer there. Okay, then when that particular data goes to what, the next layer, that is nothing but the network layer. At that time again the new headers are attached, though frames are converted into what, packets, and those packets will get converted into what, segments at the transport layer. Okay, so what happened exactly in the TCP/IP layer? Your layer size will become integrated into one another. That means instead of 7 layers, only 4 layers are there. Okay, only 4 layers are there, and because of 4 layers, minimal headers and trailers are attached, and your data is processed very fastly. Okay, this is what the major difference between what OSI and TCP/IP. So in OSI, because of 7 layers, multiple headers and trailers are attached, and if we compare that particular OSI model with TCP/IP, that particular TCP/IP model is having only 4 to 5 layers. Okay, so those layers, very few headers and trailers are attached in that, and because of that your data is delivered fastly. Okay, so this is what the major difference. And out of that, sir has given me the topic today to share with all of you, or to share my knowledge with all of you, that is based on what, circuit switching, packet switching. Okay, so circuit switching, packet switching is one of the most important topic, as you already studied switching, and switch is one of the device which is working on what, the data link layer, and switch is having capability to store the MAC table, right? MAC table you have already studied, that is called as what, the physical address table also, right? So switching, in switching, you people have to identify, or you people need to understand which kind of IEEE standards are there in the market that will switch your packet from one network to another network. Okay, because nowadays, as you already know, our world population is near about 600 crore something, and devices are near about 50 crores. Okay, that means one person is having almost 7 devices. One person is having almost 7 devices. Okay, that is the equivalent ratio, because IoTs are there, then every person is having one mobile, laptops and all. Okay, so the ratio nowadays are changing is what, 1:7. एक पर्सन के पास 7 डिजिटल डिवाइसेस होंगे, ऐसा प्रेडिक्शन लगाया गया है, राइट? एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट प्रेडिक्शन, व्हाट हैपन, the data are transmitted through the network, because each and every device is connected ultimately with what, the internet, and in the internet you need to switch the data from one to another network. Okay, so that switching plays really a great role. Okay, और सर्किट स्विचिंग पैकेट स्विचिंग के साथ और एक टेक्निक पिक्चर में आती है, एंड दैट टेक्निक इज सिंपली कॉल्ड एज मैसेज स्विचिंग. Okay, that technique also you need to remember, and that technique is message switching. Nowadays you people already know कि before launching WhatsApp, Telegram, hikes and all, okay, so the SMS is one of the gateway through which you people are able to transfer your message from one mobile to another mobile. Okay, so that type of technique is called as what? Message switching. And nowadays message switching is there, but message switching technique is used by most of the banks, then most of the transaction gateways, to deliver only what? The messages related to your transactions and all. Okay, nowadays the message switching is absolute. आप लोग messages कम करते हैं, आप लोग WhatsApp ज्यादा करते हैं, right? Because that is somewhat faster way, and GUI is also quite good. Okay, so that why the another technique is also there along with what? The circuit switching, packet switching, that is called as message switching also. So all these three techniques we will study. And before starting with this, I will let you know packet switching is one of the most important technique. Okay, rather packet switching is one of the most advantageous and having more feature technique if we compared with circuit switching and message switching. Okay, so we will go into the concept one by one, so that you can understand why packet switching is far better than message switching and circuit switching. So we can simply say packet switching is the hybrid combination of circuit switching and message switching. Okay, see here. So network layer, as I already told you, switching is what? Packet switching is what? The technique which is working on the network layer. Okay, and network layer is really one of the most important layer as far as your OSI or TCP/IP model is concerned, because on network layer your frames which are there on the data link layers are converted into what? Packets. Okay, are converted into what? Packets, and those packets are handled by network layer, and those packets we need to switch from one network to another. Switch करना है, push करना, आगे के लेयर के ऊपर क्या करना है? उस पर्टिकुलर चीजों को पुश करना है. So that is what the main agenda behind this. Okay, so multiple issues are there while designing the network layer. जब network layer बनाया गया TCP/IP मॉडल के लिए या OSI मॉडल के लिए, तो कौन कौन सी issues को एड्रेस किया गया? Out of that, the first issue is what? Stored and forward packet switching. So whatever packets are there on the network layer, how to store that particular packets and how to forward those particular packets, that is really the biggest challenge while designing the network layer. तो आपको भी पता है कि कोई भी चीज अगर डिजाइन करना है तो उसके पहले आपको क्या क्या इश्यूज आएंगे, वो आपको क्या करना है? फोकस करना है. I will not discuss this further issues in detail. Our main concern is what? The first and last one. So storing and forwarding the packets, that is really one of the important issue that we need to address, and that we will address in the next few minutes. And the last one is what? Comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnets. Okay, so in packet switching, the another technique is called as, or the for transmitting the packet from one network to another, the virtual circuits are formed, and how these circuits are work, that we will see later on. Okay, so these two issues we need to understand, and for those issues some solutions are provided, and those solutions are nothing but circuit switching, packet switching and message switching. So we will go into the deep dive of what? Switching techniques. So these are what the three techniques that we need to understand, which are working on what? Your switching layers, or that is simply you can call as what? Data link layer as well as network layer. Okay, and those switching techniques are nothing but circuit, packet and message switching. Out of that, message switching is quite older one, then later on circuit switching come into the picture, and then the hybrid combination of circuit and message is what? Packet switching. That's why it is sandwiched between circuit and message switching. दोनों के अंदर डाला हुआ है देखिए packet switching. And packet switching is again further divided into two parts, that is datagram packet switching and virtual packet switching. So datagram packet switching and virtual packet switching, what exactly it is, that we will see later on. Okay, so we will start with what? The circuit switching first. Okay, so just remember, circuit switching is the technique where there is a need to identify the path first, That means the path is already pre-specified, the route is already प्री स्पेसिफाइड। जैसे सिंपली आप लोग बोल सकते हैं कि कोई अगर आप लोगों ने देखा होगा, देखिए when any one leader will come at Ozer airport, at that time the particular path, okay, for road transport, the police, the traffic police, then the Maharashtra government police will block that particular route, okay, for what? Transmission of data, so that no other data is permitted, so that no other vehicle is permitted on that particular route. So we can simply call this at what? Ki whatever things are there in circuit switching, those packets are travel with pre-specified route. पहले से आपको क्या करना है, उस path को pre-specify करके रखना है. So when two nodes going to communicate with each other over the dedicated communication path, it is called as circuit switching. It is simply called as dedicated path, क्योंकि वो path already क्या होता है, predefined होता है. There is a need of pre-specified route from which data will travel and no other data is permitted. Okay, जैसे मैंने आपको just बताया कि if that particular person is traveling from Ozer airport to the Nasik municipal corporation, that particular that particular route is what? Already blocked or dedicated for what? Only the prime minister vehicle or for chief minister vehicle or all. And that means no other specified public vehicles are what? Permitted on that route. So in circuit switching, to transfer data, the circuit must be established, okay, so that data transfer take place. So as you already know, before calling we are saying hello hello, okay. जैसे देखिए अभी ये लेक्चर स्टार्ट होने से पहले Nitin sir asked me, sir, am I audible? Then I am calling, sir, I am audible. So in that way, we are checking what? The connection, whether connection is properly established or not, whether my voice is properly audible or not. And that particular step is called as what? Establishing the circuit. So the first stage, okay, of what? Communication is what? We need to establish the connection. We need to establish the connection so that later on, I can share my PPTs, I can share the things with all of you. So this is what the beauty of this particular circuit switching. So we need to establish the connection first and then actual the data transfer take place. उसके बाद ही data क्या होगा? Transfer होगा. So circuit can be permanently or temporary. So whatever circuits are formed, that can be permanent or temporary. So what is permanent and temporary? Let's say I have called the telephone, okay. That means I have dialed one number on telephone, okay, and after finishing my talk, I just close that particular connection. And the another way is what? I'm taking the internet from ISDN. That is what? The telephone connection से अभी पहले internet लिया जाता था. ओके आपको पता है, यानी आपको शायद से पता होगा इन चीजों का. ओके तो उस पर्टिकुलर चीज में क्या होता है? Whenever I need internet connection, that particular line is on continuously. That particular line is on continuously. That is called as ISDN connection. Okay, that कनेक्शन इज ISDN. आप कनेक्ट उसके ऊपर आप लोगों को होना पड़ता था और फिर वो कनेक्शन क्या होता था, आगे डेटा ट्रांसफर टेक प्लेस करता था. सो सर्किट कैन बी परमानेंट और टेम्पररी. टेम्पररी यानी क्या? वंस योर टॉक इज फिनिश्ड, यू जस्ट डिस्कनेक्ट द कनेक्शन. और इट कैन बी परमानेंट इन केस ऑफ इंटरनेट. Throughout day you need the connection. So that kind of connections are also called as what? Permanent connection. Okay. So applications which use the circuit switching may have three phases. As I already told you, the first phase is establish circuit. Hello, hello. Okay. Hello call is there. That is called as establishment of what? Circuit. तो hello, hello में क्या होता है? आप पहले सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं? चेक करते हैं whether both sides are properly connected or not. Once both sides are properly connected, then we start transmitting the data. And once data is transferred, we can disconnect the circuit or we can leave the circuit as it is. That means we are not going to disconnect the circuit. So these three phases are there while circuit switching is the technique. Okay. So the first is establishment of circuit. That is simply called as hello protocol. The second one is transfer of data, and third one is what? Disconnect of circuit. So this is what, and this particular technique is most widely used in telephones. Okay. So circuit switching was designed for voice applications. जो आपके घर में लैंडलाइन फोन्स थे या जो भी चीजें थी, उसके अंदर वो चीजें क्या थी? सर्किट स्विचिंग के थ्रू ऑपरेट होती थी. तो सर्किट स्विचिंग के अंदर देखिए डेडिकेटेड पाथ्स आर क्रिएटेड. ओके, इफ यू ऑब्जर्व हियर, one person is the sender and another person is the receiver. One person is dialing that particular route, then routes are specified first. Okay, and once the routes are specified, then that particular dedicated path is used for that route only, and that person Bob is going to connected with what? Allies, with the dedicated path. Okay, so telephone is the best example of circuit switching. Before user can make a call, virtual path is created, that is simply called as pre-specified path, and callee is established the connection over the network. Caller and callee are there and they are establishing the connection virtually. Okay, that is what the virtual path. ओके, वर्चुअल पाथ मींस व्हाट? जो पुलिस लोगों ने वर्चुअली बनाया था कि इस रूट पे कोई नहीं आएगा, जैसे गाड़ी पास हो जाएगी वो वर्चुअल पाथ फिर से क्या हो जाएगा? डिसअपियर हो जाएगा. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड एज व्हाट? वर्चुअल पाथ. सो दिस इज व्हाट सर्किट स्विचिंग. ओके, सो आई विल जस्ट give you the summarize thing or the summary of this particular circuit switching. Then we will move to what? Message switching and packet switching. So summary of circuit switching is what? Predefined paths are there, dedicated connection is there. Once predefined path is established, then no other packets are going to transfer on that particular path. Then circuit switching is working with three different phases. One is established phase, that means where you people are going to connect with each other with proper connectivity. Once connectivity is done, then data transfer is take place, and once data transfer is properly or succeeded, then connection is closed or disconnected, or connection will remain live. So this is what the beauty of circuit switching network. And in circuit switching network, if you observe, these particular yellow blocks are there, and these yellow blocks are nothing but the switches which are placed in the network. जो आपका जैसे let's say BSNL का network होगा, Vodafone का network होगा. So every BSNL office or every network are having their own offices or own towers, and those towers are having own switches. And those switches are connected from one switch to another switch, from another to another, and the dedicated paths are created in that manner. Okay, so if A want to communicate with F, then what is the dedicated path? I, that means this one Roman, this is written in Roman 1 2 4, and then data is delivered to F. If you want to deliver packet to D, then it will take a path from A to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then packet is delivered to D. So these switches are there inside the network, and only senders and receivers are there. Sender and receiver don't know how your packets will get transferred, because that is what the things which are placed inside. That means we can simply say, आप लोगों को पता होगा व्हाइट बॉक्स टेस्टिंग, ब्लैक बॉक्स. ब्लैक बॉक्स यानी क्या? बाहर से पूरा बॉक्स ऐसा ब्लैक होता है, अंदर क्या चल रहा है आपको नहीं दिखेगा. एंड व्हाइट बॉक्स के अंदर क्या होता है? यू पीपल आर एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि आपका पैकेट कहां से कहां गया, कहां से कहां गया. दैट मींस यू पीपल आर एबल टू डायग्नोज द थिंग्स. दैट इज सिंपली कॉल्ड एज डिबगिंग द थिंग्स. ओके, सो दिस इज सर्किट स्विच के अंदर या कौन से भी नेटवर्क के अंदर आपका पैकेट कहां से कहां पहुंच रहा है ये आपको नहीं पता. यू आर जस्ट गेटिंग द डेटा फ्रॉम सोर्स टू receiver. So this is all about what? Circuit switching technique. Okay. Hope so the circuit switching is clear to all of you. Circuit switching समझ में आया आपको?
Is there any question on circuit switching? Okay, Rahul, yeah, ask your question, Rahul.
Hello.
Yes, sir. One student is having problem.
Yes.
Okay, he's saying no doubt, sir. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine.
Okay, so you can continue, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the next technique is simply called as message switching. Okay. So message switching is the technique which is having too much drawbacks. So we can say nowadays that is the absolute technique. Okay. अभी वो absolute होते जा रही है. The reason behind that is what? We need to store the huge data into switches. And as I already told you, every switch is having their own capacity. हर स्विच के अंदर क्या है? खुद का एक कैपेसिटी होता है. इफ वी कंसिडर द स्विच 1, okay, if we consider this yellow box 1, then we consider the switch yellow box 2, we consider the switch yellow box 3, and we consider the switch yellow box 4. Each and every switches are having their own limitations, having their limitations of processing capability. तो जब भी आप लोग ये अंडरस्टैंड करोगे कि every switch के अंदर having minimal storage, okay, because storage is again one of the restriction. Okay, and if you go with what? The better storage, in that case the cost of that particular switch goes on increasing, and that is what the problem with what? Message switching. So message switching is the technique was somewhere in the middle of the circuit switching and packet switching. As I already told you ki message switching is absolute, circuit switching is quite far better, and packet switching is far better. Okay, so message switching is the technique somewhere in the middle of circuit switching and packet switching. So in message switching, the whole message is treated as a data unit, and it is switching or transferred in its entirely. That means whatever message is there in circuit switching, what happen? Your data is divided into what? Small blocks. आपका डेटा क्या किया जाता है? छोटे छोटे इसमें डिवाइड किया जाता है. Let's say you are having the video of 10 GB. Then that particular 10 GB of video is divided into what? 11 GB of part, and that particular 11 GB of part is again reassembled at what? The receiver side. So sender is dividing that particular data on the dedicated path. That particular data will received on what? The receiver end, and the receiver will assemble that data in proper sequence. But in message switching what happen? जब तक आपका पूरा 10 GB का डेटा उस स्विच के पास नहीं आ जाएगा तब तक उसको आगे वो फॉरवर्ड नहीं करेगा. So whole message is treated as what? The data unit and transferred in its entirely. So can you imagine if we are having the data of 10 GB, so your switches are having very less memory. Simply we can say, let's say your switches are having the capacity of 5 GB. So how your switch is able to transfer the 10 GB of data? So that is what the challenge in message switching. So message switching is the technique where you need a lot of storage on circuit side. Okay, whatever inside structure is there, those structure you need a quality, or you need the high cost end switches that are capable to store the large amount of data. So switch working on the message switching first receive the whole message, buffer in it, buffer करना पड़ेगा उसको. So buffering the data in the switch required huge memory until there are the resources available to transfer it to the next hop. जब तक आगे वाला होप आपका फ्री नहीं हो जाता है तब तक वो क्या करेगा? उसको पर्टिकुलर चीजों को होल्ड करके रखेगा. If the next hop is not having enough resources to accommodate large message, then message stored and switch wait. As I already told you, if your switch is having only 5 GB of capacity and your data is having 10 GB of space, or whatever message you want to transfer that is the size of 10 GB, then in that case what happen? You need to identify the switches, or you need such a resources that particular resources are able to accommodate such large messages. So that is what the challenge of what? Message switching. Okay, so in message switching you people are able to store the data and then you are going to forward the packet. If you observe here, then we are having 4 computers, and again one cloud like structure is there, that is again the switches, and these switches are having very good storage capacity. But for purchasing those kind of switches you need to spend a lot of amount. But nowadays the IT infrastructure, or the companies, or the IT companies, or the colleges, okay, those who are having the large requirement, they are not going to refer this kind of message switching technique because the switches are quite costlier. So here one thing you need to remember, the messages whatever you want to transfer from source to destination, that messages will stored into the switch first. The condition or the constraint in that particular case is what? Whatever switches are there, those switches should have very good capacity. Once that particular data is stored, then it will wait for the next switch to transfer the data. But if the next switch is already full, then that particular data is buffered into the switch 1 and wait until the next switch will free. So this is what all about the message switching. So we can simply say the message switching is having the drawback of what? Transmission of real-time data, because आप real-time data भेज ही नहीं सकते. Okay, and if you imagine we are delivering this particular session on Google Meet, another application is Zoom, another application is Microsoft Teams. So multiple application nowadays are available in the market. Those applications required the transmission of real time of data. Okay, and if you will go with the message switching, then it's really difficult. Okay, it's really difficult because it will not able to transfer the real time of data. So this is what the drawback of message switching. So every switch, see whatever drawback we have studied, that is mentioned here only. So every switch in transit path needs enough storage to accommodate the entire message. As I already told you, हर switch के अंदर एक enough space चाहिए. Because of stored and forward technique, wait until the resources are available. If next switch is not available, then that particular data is buffered into switch, and because of that message switching is very slow. So message switching was not a solution for streaming media or real-time application. As I already told you, this technique is not the best solution for what real-time streaming or real-time applications. So these are what the drawbacks of message switching. As you already know, agar let's say I want to share some messages with all of you, जरूरी नहीं सबके मोबाइल ऑन ही रहेंगे, तो आपको डेटा डिलीवर नहीं होगा. That particular data will go into the what switch, and once your mobile is on, once you people are available on the mobile, then that particular data will delivered on your mobile. That's why मैंने already आपको बताया कि message switching is absolute nowadays because of WhatsApp and all, because you people want real time data. Okay, no one is having time nowadays. आपको पता ही है कि किसी को time नहीं होता है. Fast you people want data, और जितना फास्ट रिस्पॉन्स आए उतना अच्छा रहता है. That's why this technique is quite older one and absolute nowadays. Okay, so this is overall summary about what the message switching, and the next technique that we need to understand, that is called as what packet switching. Okay, this is one of the most important and most widely used technique nowadays in the market. ये बहुत वाइडली यूज होने वाली टेक्निक है आज के डेट में मार्केट में, और इसका आउटकम भी बहुत अच्छे है, बिकॉज वो whatever throughputs, whatever delay, whatever jitters, okay, all features you already studied, those features are very well accomplished. Quality of service features are already very well accomplished with the help of what packet switching technique. The shortcoming of message switching give birth to the idea of what packet switching. Okay, again there are multiple shortcomings are there in circuit switching also. Those shortcomings are also overcome in packet switching method. So what happened in this case? Observe, the entire message is broken down into smaller chunks. As I already told you कि आपका मैसेज क्या किया गया है, smaller chunk में डिवाइड किया गया है. Let's say my class strength is near about 120. Let's say in SNJB the second year class strength is near about 120. Okay, so I given one task to them. Okay, all of you have to reach to Malega, or all of you have to reach to Nasik. Okay, so all are started running. Okay, and I have declared those who will reach to Nasik first, okay, they will earn a very good points, or I will give them 2 extra marks. Okay, so in that case what happened, each and every one, okay, there is no restriction of what you all go together to reach to Nasik. You can take your own paths and try to reach to the Nasik. And packet switching is what the technique which will suggest कि you can take any path but try to reach to destination at as earlier as possible. Okay, so this is what the beauty of this packet switching technique. तो जैसे मैंने क्लासरूम को बोला कि आप लोगों को क्या करना है, you people have to reach to Nasik, आपको नासिक reach करना है. Okay, and you can take any path. There is that means no packet or no roll number or no student is dependent on another one. एक दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं है. हर लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, अपना इंडिपेंडेंटली पाथ लो और डेस्टिनेशन तक रीच करने का ट्राई करो. Okay, so in this case what happens, switch. See, the switching information is added in header of each packet and transmitted independently. So what happened in this case, क्या किया मैंने, सभी को बोला आपके क्लासरूम ये सेकंड ईयर का ही है, सभी के गले में एक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड दिया और वो आइडेंटिटी कार्ड के ऊपर लिख दिया कि यू ऑल आर फ्रॉम एसी कंप्यूटर, यू ऑल आर फ्रॉम व्हाट ACIT. Okay, so one header I have added there. So switching information is added into the header. Okay, so packet का जो already header था उसमें और एक चीज ऐड की गई, that is switching information. Okay, and transmitted independently. फिर सभी के गले में जब वो आई कार्ड डाला गया और सबको बोला कि now you start moving. So someone has taken the route from Devra, Satana, Kalwan and Nasik. Someone has taken the route of Pimpalgaon, Ozar and then Nasik. Someone has taken the route from Nifad side, Lasalgaon side. So multiple routes are there to reach to what? The Nasik. Okay, there is no restriction on what taking the routes because switching information is already added. And switching information is what? All are from the same classroom, from the second year computer or from the second year IT. Okay, so सभी को जब मैंने हेडर में डाल दिया कि भले ही आप अलग अलग वे से जाओ लेकिन आपका एक ही आइडेंटिटी, सब लोग नासिक में आने के बाद द्वारका पे ही आना है. Okay, everyone has to gather at what? Dwarka, or everyone has to gather at NDMVP. So their destination is fixed, right? Okay, and their header is carrying the same information कि we are from SNJB Com AC. we are from SNGB comp AC. Okay, so that particular message is what percolated throughout the channel. So it is easier for the intermediate networking devices to store such a small packet. As I already told you कि आप लोगों ने क्या किया है, छोटे छोटे पैकेट्स में डिवाइड किया था, और जो डिवाइसेस होते हैं आपके स्विचिंग वाले डिवाइस, those devices are having limited storage. बिकॉज ज्यादा स्टोरेज वाला डिवाइस लोगे तो महंगा जाएगा, इट इज समवट कॉस्टलियर. सो यू नीड टू परचेज द डिवाइसेस which are in our range, so that any person can easily purchase those, and those devices are having small memory, and that particular packets are also small, so those memory can easily store these packets into what, their switches. Okay, and those small size packets are not take much more memory, and they can easily forward from one part to another part. Okay, so it is easier for intermediate networking devices to store the small size packet, and they do not make such resources either on carrier path or on the internal memory storage. So what is carrier path? Carrier path यानी जो अंदर के cables का connectivity होता है, that is called as carrier path, and internal storage are nothing but the switches which are available on what, let's consider the example of what Pimpalgaon is there, then Satana is there, those are what, the switches. Okay, so वहां से भी ट्रैफिक क्या हो जाएगी, इजीली पास हो जाएगी. So this is what the packet switching. So packet switchings are divided the long messages into packets. They are sent out the network, they are sent out to the network sequentially one at a time. Okay, पैकेट्स ट्रांसफर किए जाएंगे वन एट अ टाइम, फिर वो कौन सा भी आगे पाथ कौन सा भी लो उससे कोई मैटर नहीं करता है, बट वन बाय वन दे आर सेंडिंग द packets, and again at the destination all packets are gathered or reassembled in a sequence. How the network will handle this stream of packets as it attempt to route them through the network and deliver to the intended destination. As I already told you, this question is what, the third bullet. जो third bullet का statement है वो क्या बोल रहा है आपको, how will the network handle this stream, because all packets are independent, all packets are taking their own routes, so ये handle कैसे करेगा. ओके और सामने वाले डेस्टिनेशन को डिलीवर कैसे होगा, तो इसके लिए दो टेक्निक्स फिर से लॉन्च की गई. वन इज डेटाग्राम अप्रोच एंड अनदर वन इज द वर्चुअल सर्किट अप्रोच. ओके, सो वन इज डेटाग्राम अप्रोच. सो व्हाट इज डेटाग्राम अप्रोच, वी विल स्टार्ट विद दैट. सो डेटाग्राम अप्रोच इज व्हाट, ईच पैकेट इज ट्रीटेड इंडिपेंडेंटली. हर पैकेट इंडिपेंडेंटली ट्रीट होगा, भले ही वो एक क्लास से बिलोंग करते हो. जैसे आपके कोई खास फ्रेंड होंगे, भले ही वो एक क्लास के हो, लेकिन वो अलग अलग क्लास की जगह पे क्या करेंगे, इंडिपेंडेंटली जाएंगे. किसी को किसी का कुछ, भले आप फोन के ऊपर बात करो, लेकिन एक बोलेगा कि मैं लासलगांव तक पहुंचा हूं, दूसरा बोलेगा मैं सटाना तक पहुंचा हूं. सब लोग इंडिपेंडेंटली ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, किसी का किसी के ऊपर कोई डिपेंडेंसी नहीं रहेगा. पैकेट कैन टेक एनी पॉसिबल रूट. एज आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू, there is no restriction on that because all are independent packet, they can take any possible route. Packet may arrive at the receiver out of order. As I already told you, कुछ लोग पिंपलगांव से जाएंगे तो जल्दी पहुंचेंगे, कुछ लोग निफाड़ से जाएंगे तो लेट पहुंचेंगे. So I can say all packets will reach to NDMVP or all packets will reach to द्वारका in out of order. उसका कोई ऑर्डर फिक्स नहीं रहेगा. Some packets may go missing. किसी का गाड़ी खराब हो गया, वो शाम तक भी नहीं पहुंचेंगे, बराबर, कुछ पैकेट्स मिस हो जाएंगे. ओके, इट इज अप टू द रिसीवर टू रीऑर्डर द पैकेट्स एंड रिकवर फ्रॉम मिसिंग पैकेट्स. ओके, अभी लेट्स से रोल नंबर 50 पहुंचा ही नहीं, देन अगेन I will call, let's say I am the teacher for the I am the class teacher for all the class, then I will take a attendance there at the Dwarka, and if I found कि some of the roll numbers are missing, now it is up to me, ये मेरा decision है कि वो recover करना है या नहीं करना है. So I will call them, I will again tell them कि you start your journey and try to reach to destination. So these are what the techniques. And datagram के अंदर ऑलरेडी जैसे किसी ने बोला था कि सर अनरिलायबल नेटवर्क इज देयर, सो डेटाग्राम नेटवर्क्स आर अनरिलायबल वन, बट स्ट्रीम नेटवर्क्स और व्हाटएवर connection oriented networks are there, those are reliable ones. So now it's up to the UDP protocol or up to the datagram technique whether we need to recover those packets or not, otherwise that packet will get lost. Okay, so this is what the datagram. See the diagram, from this you can easily understand. देखिए मेरे पास 4 पैकेट्स है, 1 2 3 4. ये पैकेट जब नेटवर्क में जाएंगे, so all packets will take the different routes. See here, 1 is taking this particular route, 2 is taking this particular route, 3 is taking the another route, and 4th one is taking the another route. That means someone are traveling from Pimpalgaon, Ozar, some packets are traveling from Lasalgaon, Nifad, and some packets are traveling from what, Satana, Devla, Kadwan, and then reach to destination. If you observe, this X is the destination. On destination, the packets are received in out of order. Okay, the sequence is not fixed. If you observe on the source side, the sequence is fixed 1 2 3 4. Okay, the first packet is 1, second is 2 3 and 4, but at the destination at X location the packets are reached out of order. जो पैकेट वहां पे आने वाले वो क्या है, out of order. That this is what the datagram approach. Okay, now the another okay, so this is a datagram approach. Okay, so the second approach that we need to study is what, the virtual circuit approach. Okay, so virtual circuit, एक simple सा example मैं आपको बता दूं. I have visited many times the IIT Bombay because I think so all of you are aware about what the IIT Tech Fest. Every year the IIT Tech Fest, IIT Bombay is organizing one Tech Fest, and in that we have studied the concept of what, virtual reality. We can simply say, or that is called as augmented reality. Okay, maybe आपको इसमें भी होगा आपके कंप्यूटर ग्राफिक्स में. Okay, so what happen in virtual circuit? If you observe in virtual circuit में exactly होता क्या है, हमने वहां पे एक टेक्निक देखा था जो फाइनल ईयर के बच्चों ने डेवलप किया था. दे हैव डिजाइन वन वॉलीबॉल गेम. एज ऑल ऑफ यू आर अवेयर अबाउट वॉलीबॉल गेम, इन दैट व्हाट हैपन, two teams are there and one net is there in between. Okay, so the opponent is what, the screen, and the participant, those who are the that means those who are visiting the exhibition or that particular tech fest will be what, the another side opponent. Okay, so the two teams are there, one is CPU and another one is what, the opponent team. So वहां पे एक बड़ा सा स्क्रीन उन्होंने लगाया था 10 बाय 10 का, और उस स्क्रीन के ऊपर जैसे ही मैंने फिर वो सामने से कंप्यूटर क्या करेगा, वॉलीबॉल को लिफ्ट करेगा, और इस साइड से मैं उस पर्टिकुलर वॉलीबॉल को क्या करूंगा, लिफ्ट करूंगा. तो लेकिन जब फील आएगा तो वो क्या होगा कि रियल में लगेगा कि नाउ आई एम प्लेइंग विद what, the real teams. So that is what the game designed by those IIT peoples, and that is what the virtual game. That is not in the real one, because opponents are not the real, they are the CPUs, and the front side team are what, the actual peoples. So virtual circuits are the circuit, they are also virtual. Logically they are available, not physically. Okay, so in virtual circuit what happen, pre-plan route is established. अभी आप बोलोगे सर यहाँ पे भी तो pre-plan किया जा रहा है. Before any packets are sent, I will discuss this thing later on. Okay, so each packet contain virtual circuit identifier. आपको याद है अपन ने जैसे यहाँ पे एक ID का टैग लगाया था डेटाग्राम अप्रोच में, वैसे ही जो दूसरा अप्रोच है कौन सा, आपका वर्चुअल सर्किट का, उसके अंदर फिर से एक आइडेंटिटी कार्ड दिया जाता है, दैट इज वर्चुअल सर्किट आइडेंटिफायर. उसके अंदर क्या होता है, देखिए, वर्चुअल सर्किट आइडेंटिफायर इज देयर इंस्टेड ऑफ डेस्टिनेशन एड्रेस. डेस्टिनेशन का एड्रेस देने की जगह पे आप लोग क्या देते हैं, वहां पे वर्चुअल सर्किट आइडेंटिफायर असाइन करते हैं, एंड ईच नोड pre-establish the route, knows where it forward. Okay, then the node need not make a routing decision for each packet. Okay, so as you already know, ATMs are there, then X25 is the protocol, frame relays are there. These particular circuits we have already studied, as you all people are visiting the ATMs, and those ATMs are working on the virtual circuit identifier concept, because these circuits are working in real time environment. ओके, एंड इन दैट केस व्हाट हैपन, जो चिप अभी बैठाई गई देखिए आपके एटीएम के अंदर, क्योंकि आई थिंक सो 2019 के बाद विदाउट चिप वाले सब एटीएम कार्ड बंद हो गए और एटीएम मशीन अपग्रेड की गई वो चिप के साथ, जिस चिप के अंदर क्या रहता है, वर्चुअल सर्किट आइडेंटिफायर, जो क्या करता है, फास्ट डिसीजन लेता है और आपका डेटा क्या करता है, डेस्टिनेशन को रीच करवाने का काम करता है. सो इफ यू ऑब्जर्व हियर, दिस इज व्हाट द वर्चुअल अप्रोच, द रूट बिटवीन स्टेशन इज सेट अप प्रायर टू डेटा ट्रांसफर, यानी फिर से कनेक्शन इस्टेब्लिश करना है आपको. ओके, एंड दिस इज द वर्चुअल सर्किट, नॉट द रियल वन. ऑल डेटा पैकेट्स ट्रांसफर then follow the same route. फिर से same route follow करेंगे, but packets are transmitted one after another, but there is no dedicated resources are reserved for the virtual circuit. Packet need to be stored and format. Okay, because it is what, packet switching is the combination of मैसेज स्विचिंग एंड सर्किट स्विचिंग, जिसके अंदर कोई डेडिकेटेड रिसोर्सेस आपको रिलोकेट नहीं करना है, लेकिन आपका पैकेट पूरा सेम रूट फॉलो करेगा. डेटाग्राम के अंदर आपके पैकेट अलग अलग रूट से क्या हो रहे थे, वहां पे ट्रांसफर किए जा रहे थे. ओके, सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट व्हाट, द कंसेप्ट ऑफ circuit switching, packet switching and virtual switching. Okay, so this is what the comparison is given. If you observe the virtual circuit and datagram circuit, so these both techniques are the subparts of what, your packet switching. बट पैकेट स्विचिंग में भी दो टाइप से आप क्या कर सकते हैं, डेटा भेज सकते हैं. वन इज डेटाग्राम एंड अनदर वन इज virtual circuit. So circuit setup in datagram is not needed because any packet can take the another path. But in virtual circuit, as we already studied here, the dotted path is already established. That is called as virtual path. तो पहले से क्या किया जाता है, यहाँ पे establish किया जाता है. Then addressing. Each packet contains the source and destination address. Here, in this case, we are not storing the address here. Instead of destination addresses, we are just storing the virtual circuit identifier. यानी उसको सिर्फ आगे वाले का पाथ पता रहेगा, इस यानी इस पाथ के ऊपर वो पाथ पे जाते रहेगा, उसको डेस्टिनेशन का एड्रेस नहीं पता है, इस ये सिर्फ उस पाथ के ऊपर ट्रैवल करते रहेगा, राइट. दैट्स व्हाई सर्किट सेटअप इज नॉट needed. Okay, then next, state information. Router do not hold the state information about connection. उसको circuit information की जरूरत नहीं because all are independently transfer. Here each virtual circuit identifier require the state information. वहाँ पे virtual circuit के जो identifier है उसको वही root के ऊपर क्या करना है, transfer करना है. In routing, each packet is transferred independently because taking different paths. And here in virtual circuit identifier, root is chosen when the VC is सेटअप. वर्चुअल सर्किट एक बार सेटअप हो गया कि रूट ऑलरेडी चूज हो जाएगा और उसी के ऊपर वो क्या करेंगे, फॉलो करेंगे. इफेक्ट ऑफ राउटर फेल्यूर, नन. व्हाई ये राउटर फेल्यूर का नन क्यों है, क्योंकि हर एक अपना क्या करने वाला है, एक राउटर फेल हुआ तो दूसरे रूट से चला जाएगा, तीसरे रूट से चला जाएगा. यहाँ पे देखिए इफेक्ट क्या होगा, ऑल वर्चुअल सर्किट दैट पास आर फेल्ड देन राउटर इज टर्मिनेटेड. यानी अगर आपका वर्चुअल जो कनेक्शन आपने बनाया है डॉटेड वाली लाइन, अगर वो फेल हो गई तो आपका पैकेट ही नहीं डिलीवर हो पाएगा, तो राउटर आपका फेल हो जाएगा. सो क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विस इज समवट डिफिकल्ट इन डेटाग्राम क्योंकि कुछ पैकेट लॉस हो सकते हैं, एंड क्वालिटी ऑफ सर्विस इज क्वाइट गुड इन वर्चुअल सर्किट. कंजेशन कंट्रोल, इफ यू ऑब्जर्व, कंजेशन कंट्रोल करना यहाँ पे डिफिकल्ट जाएगा because of independent paths are there, and congestion control is easy in virtual circuit because enough resources are there. And because of virtual circuit, what happen, that particular path is already known, this particular packets are transmitted on this particular route, so we need to keep that particular path empty so that there will not be any chances of what, congestion control. So this is what the difference of virtual packet switching and datagram packet switching. Okay, and this is what the overall difference, ये पूरा difference है circuit message and सर्किट स्विचिंग एंड मैसेज स्विचिंग, पैकेट स्विचिंग के अंदर का. तो सर्किट स्विचिंग के अंदर ये पार्ट आता है, डेटाग्राम स्विच एंड वर्चुअल पार्ट. सो दिस पर्टिकुलर पार्ट्स आर और डिफरेंसेस आर ऑलरेडी मेंशन हियर. ओके, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस you can understand if we compare this first column with these next two columns, so we can easily identify datagram and virtual packet switching are far better if we compare with what, the circuit switching technology, because यहाँ पे dedicated path लगेगा, यहाँ पे no dedicated paths are there, continuous transmission of data is required, transmission of packets you need required here, transmission of packets. So the multiple things are mentioned here. So from that you people can easily understand the packet switching is far better technique if we compare with what, the circuit switching and message switching technique. Okay, so this is all about what, the circuit switching, message switching and packet switching. Okay, so I will show you one video based on that so that you people can understand the things. Then I am having one good presentation with me that I will share with all of you, and I will share if Uzagare sir permits for that, and we will further for what, the concluding and question answer sessions. Okay, so this is what the video which is already available on the internet. You people can also easily search this, and from this you people can understand how exactly the techniques work. Okay, so the further part they have explained about whatever bandwidth is there which is available, how that particular bandwidth is adjusted dynamically, that is shown in the next part. Because as the author or whatever presenter is there, the presenter is explaining about what the link which is available for circuit switching is the dedicated one, and the link which is available for packet switching is what available on runtime. That means if the out of 4 computer, if 2 computers are not or don't want to transmit the data, then also link is assigned in circuit switching. But in case of packet switching, what happen, that particular bandwidth is adjusted with what, only 2 computers, those who want to transmit the data. यानी उसने तुरंत क्या किया, डायनेमिसिटी के हिसाब से उसने तुरंत खुद को क्या किया, एडजस्ट कर लिया. So this is what the beauty of circuit switching, packet switching and message switching, and out of that packet switching is really the fantastic one. Okay, so from my side the topic which was assigned to me from the Nitin sir is over, and I have one very good presentation with me. I think so all of you are aware about the Jetking, right? So Jetking is one of the training institute which will train the peoples on computer network. And you already know CCNA, then Microsoft certification, then open source RSC courses, RSCSA courses are there. तो अगर आप लोगों को लिनक्स में सर्वे यानी अगर सर्वर कॉन्फ़िगरेशन और उसमें करियर बनाना है, तो आपको RHCSA रेड हैट सिस्टम सर्टिफाइड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर का कोर्स होता है, RSC होता है, एक्सपर्ट होता है, रेड हैट सिस्टम सर्टिफाइड एक्सपर्ट होता है, उसमें जाना पड़ेगा. इफ यू वांट to learn how to configure switches and all, at that time you need to understand कि वहां पे आप लोगों को राउटर स्विचेस कैसे कॉन्फ़िगर करना, तो आपको CCNA का कोर्स करना पड़ेगा. एंड इफ यू वांट टू लर्न हाउ टू कॉन्फ़िगर माइक्रोसॉफ्ट सर्वर, दैट इज द लाइसेंस सर्वर, तो आपको वहां पे MCSC के कोर्सेज करने पड़ेंगे, जहां पे आप लोगों को माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का सर्वर क्या होगा वहां पे आप लोगों को सीखने मिलेगा. ओके, सो I have my own blog where I have uploaded that link also, and I will show you that means what sort of animations that JetKing has provided to us. If you go to computer network, then here, sorry, don't go to go to the value addition material. Sorry. So in value addition material, CN material is there. Okay, and you if you click on the CN material, then you will get one link. Okay, and that link I will show you. So this is what the material which is provided by what JetKing. और जब आप यहाँ पे क्लिक करोगे तो इसमें पूरा डिस्क्रिप्शन बिल्कुल एनिमेशन के साथ दिया है, so that आपको पूरा बेसिक टू एडवांस आप लोगों को सीखने मिलेगा. Just see here, multiple labs are there. Okay, 5 total labs are there. See here, I will click on one of the labs so that you can understand, because these are the five labs. See here, this is one of the. When you click on the local area network, it will explain the local area network like that. Okay. So each and every concept is explained very well. So those who want to make in networking, they can go with this kind of they can go with this kind of presentation. That is really the fantastic presentation. The size of that presentation is quite bigger. That is near about 1.22 GB. That I will share with Ujagre sir, that link. So you can collect that particular data from Ujagre sir. Otherwise, you can directly send a request from my blog. I will send that particular acceptance request, and you can download on your end only. Okay. So this is all about what circuit and packet switching and message switching from my side. So if anyone is having question, then please ask me.
This is the most awaited part of this presentation. I think sir has explained really beautifully in a he has dig down the concept very deep. So I think there are a lot of questions. So we can take the questions one by one. You can even type your question in the chat box as well. So is there any question?
Yes, students, do you have any questions?
Okay. So he's saying, okay, sir, like someone, a few people are typing. Yes, sir, we'll take. We'll give them some time because some people they are typing actually. They are editing their questions. So take your time, and if you want to unmute your mic and ask the question, so forum is open. You can unmute your mic and ask the question. So I think who is having a question? Gnaneshwari, I think you want to unmute your mic. Am I right?
Okay, एक तो दो चीजें होती है, you understand everything or you understand nothing.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, अदर एक तो ऐसा होगा कि मेरा सब आपको समझ में आया, नहीं तो फिर कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आया. ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं ना कि कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. That is not the case. Sure.
Yes. Anybody can unmute the mic. I'll just randomly take the name. Ishika. Ishika, unmute your mic. Ishika, can you hear me? Rahul?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ishika, do you have any doubts?
No, sir, no doubt.
So you understood everything? All the three circuit switch, packet switch, and message switching technology?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
Kanhaiya?
that's great.
Kanhaiya?
Yes, sir. No doubt, sir. No doubt.
Okay. Rahul?
Yes, sir.
Rahul, any questions? Sir,
Yes, sir.
he used to ask a lot of questions to me. during
Okay.
the- So I think Rahul may have some questions. Rahul, yes. over
Yes,
to you.
yes, Rahul, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question is somewhat off the track. Sir, suppose I have to you. So you have given the video link of presentation. So my
Right.
question is that, sir, with your computer IP address, can I use the same presentation in my computer?
With same IP address.
Yes, sir, your IP address.
Yeah, the one actually one of the concept is there that is called as IP spoofing. That means IP addresses are unique, but you can make multiple copies of that. You can make the clone of that IP addresses, but ultimately your MAC addresses are what? The unique one. That means MAC address should not be spoofed, but IP address you can spoof.
So,
Okay.
yes.
That will only show you what the IP address conflict is occurred. Okay, because those addresses are not the static addresses. Okay, and if static address, that means let's say for SNJB network, one IP address is assigned for our router, that is called as static IP address. Okay, or world में अगर अपन compare करते हैं, so we are having only 2:32 IP addresses. Out of 2:32 IP addresses, one specific range is assigned to India, and that is what the static IP address is, और जो ISP provide करता है. ओके, और जो ISP आपने को प्रोवाइड किया, लेट्स से चांदवड़ को असाइन किया, चांदवड़ के राउटर को 192.168.1.1 and same IP address you want to use, then that static IP address will not get used by the another person because that is the static one. और आप लोग जो आपके नेटवर्क में यूज करते, देखिए आप लोगों ने बहुत बार कॉलेज में ऑब्जर्व किया होगा कि आप सेम लैब में बैठे हो, आपके बाजू वाले ने भी अगर आपका आईपी एड्रेस डाला है तो आपको सिर्फ नीचे मैसेज आता है कि योर आईपी एड्रेस इज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. Then also communication happens. The reason behind that is what? Because you are communicating with the outside world with only the static IP address which is assigned by whom? The ISP, जो इंटरनेट सर्विस प्रोवाइडर ने असाइन किया है. Okay, so within the network IP address conflicts are allowed, but if you come onto the network on the internet, the IP address conflicts are not allowed because those IP addresses are statically assigned. Okay, अगर आप लोग नेट पे डालोगे static IP address, I have shown my student the static IP addresses जो असाइन किए गए पूरे कंट्री वाइज. ओके, जिसमें सबसे ज्यादा IP एड्रेस जो असाइन किए यूएसए में असाइन किए, राइट. तो पूरा चार्ट आपको मिलेगा स्टैटिक IP एड्रेस का, या फिर मैं वो लिंक शेयर करूंगा लगे तो सर के साथ. दैट लिंक विल इंडिकेट कि इंडिया के लिए कौन से असाइन किए हैं, देन फिर पाकिस्तान के लिए, यूएसए के लिए, सभी चीजें क्या की गई वहां पे प्रॉपरली क्या की मेंशन की गई है. ओके, सो दो चीजें होती है, आप लोग ध्यान में रखो. एक होता है आपका स्टैटिक आईपी एड्रेस और दूसरा होता है आपका लोकल आईपी एड्रेस. लोकल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हो सकता है, स्टैटिक आईपी एड्रेस आप दो कंप्यूटर को असाइन नहीं कर सकते. यानी मेरा अगर एड्रेस स्टैटिक है और आप बोलोगे राहुल कि आपके कंप्यूटर पे वो देना है, तो वो पॉसिबल नहीं होगा.
नाही सर, पण जर आता मी टीम व्ह्यूवर किंवा मीट चालू केलं, then I can transfer the file. So it is
Right.
also using the concept of computer networking only now, sir.
Right,
Now
right.
it is
That is
possible.
using, yeah. But let's understand, when you are transmitting the data on internet, at that time the problem of IP address conflict occur. It will not transfer. because static IP address plays a great role there. So you just remember the IP addresses are the logical addresses, but जब वो नेटवर्क के अंदर कम्युनिकेट करता है तो वो आपके फिजिकल एड्रेस के साथ डेटा क्या होता है आगे ट्रांसफर होता है. ओके और जब आप सेम नेटवर्क के अंदर कम्युनिकेट करोगे तो आप लोग एक के जगह पे 2 या 3 भी आईपी एड्रेस आप लोग ऐड कर सकते हैं. आई विल शो यू जस्ट अ मिनट. ओके आपने एक चीज स्टडी की क्या, आपका जो ये होता है इंटरनेट एंड नेटवर्किंग सर्विसेज, उसमें देखिए एक IPv4 करके एक ऑप्शन आता है.
यस सर.
उसमें ऐड मोर एड्रेसेस आता है, आपने देखा है?
ऐड मोर नहीं नहीं सर, नहीं देखा है वो.
जस्ट अ मिनट.
वो सर वायर शार्क में नहीं है वो.
नहीं वायर शार्क नहीं, आपका जो रियल नेटवर्क होता है ना, लेट्स से दिस इज व्हाट द इथरनेट. ओके एंड आई एम क्लिकिंग ऑन इथरनेट.
सर योर स्क्रीन इज नॉट विजिबल.
Oh, just a minute. Okay, is it visible now?
Yes sir, it is visible.
Okay, so when you are clicking here, then it shows IP version 4, right? And when you are clicking here in advanced, see here, you can add more addresses here. Okay, see here 10.1.100.178. If you want 192.168.1.1, so you can add this with this default subnet mask. Then this address is also added, and you are when out of these two, if you are clicking on this and if you selected this IP address is selected, no doubt, but at backend this IP address is mapped with your MAC address. Okay, so ultimately the connection जब आपका बाहर नेटवर्क में जाता है तो वो यूनिक एड्रेस मैक के साथ ही एसोसिएट होता है, आपके आईपी एड्रेस के साथ एसोसिएट नहीं होता है.
Yes sir, I got it.
Means IP addresses are the logical addresses, they can vary, but MAC addresses are the unique that is communicated throughout the world. वो चेंज नहीं होता है मैक एड्रेस. और जो मैंने आपको स्टैटिक आईपी एड्रेस का कंसेप्ट बताया कि एवरी कंट्रीज आर हैविंग देयर ओन रेंज ऑफ आईपी एड्रेसेस व्हिच इज असाइन बाय द IANA बॉडी. तो जो बॉडी असाइन करती है वो स्टैटिक आईपी एड्रेस आप किसी दूसरी जगह यूज नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज दैट इज असाइन बाय हुम, द ISP प्रोवाइडर. आप इंटरनल नेटवर्क के अंदर एक आईपी एड्रेस 50 जगह यूज करो, उसका कोई यूज नहीं है. लेकिन ISP ने प्रोवाइड किया हुआ आईपी एड्रेस अगर आप आपके कंप्यूटर को दोगे तो आपका कम्युनिकेशन नहीं होगा. इज इट क्लियर राहुल?
यस सर.
क्योंकि आपके आईपी एड्रेस को इंटरनल नेटवर्क में कोई वैल्यू नहीं है. स्टैटिक आईपी एड्रेस के साथ ही कम्युनिकेशन होता है जो वर्ल्ड वाइड में काम करता है.
यस सर, आई गॉट इट.
या
Any other questions? Any other questions? You can type your questions in the chat box as well. Otherwise, because sir has given a lot of time. Okay. So Saloni is saying something. Okay, I will take her question.
Yeah, Saloni said कि packet is sent one by one at a time. Saloni, this is regarding what? Message switching, circuit switching, or packet switching? Because in message switching, what happen? Packets are sent one by one, right? And all packets are stored in buffer. Okay, so all packets are transferred one by one. That is not an issue. Okay, packets are transferred one by one also in all the techniques, but whatever packets you are transmitting, the techniques are only different. So in circuit switching, what happen? Packets are transferred sequentially because no other route will take a no other data will, that means no other data will transfer on that particular route. Okay, so in case of circuit switching, the data will transfer one by one on the same route without sharing that particular route with any other. In massive switching, what happen? Whatever data you are transmitting, that data is stored into switch first, and then whole data will transfer next. And in packet switching, what happen? Again, data is transferred one by one, but the data will be transferred immediately to any one of the route. Only data transmission of data one by one is common in all the things. Only the techniques of storing and forwarding are what? Different. Is it clear?
Yeah, she's saying yes. Okay, good. That's great. So even if you have any other questions, we will take your questions. You can mail your questions to me as well as even sir. Sir has really shared the great resources with us. So he talked about the JIT. Sir, I would love to receive that material from your end, and
Yes,
I
sir.
will
Sure. I will
definitely
share
share
that
to my
file, sir.
students. Thank you, sir. So I think with this, we come to an end of this expert talk. So it gives me a great pleasure to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thanks our management, principal, vice principal, and head of the department, Dr. V.R. Sonone, for permitting us to conduct this online expert talk on circuit switch and packet switch network. I am very grateful to Professor Rajiv sir, who accepted my invitation with a very short notice period. Yesterday, I talked with him and he said, yes, no problem, sir. I'm extremely thankful. I'm really, really thankful to you for accepting our invitation with a short notice period. And you have given us such a good presentation. So student, they got the deeper depth of the circuit switch and packet switch network, which was the missing part of our IT curriculum of computer network. So this year, this subject was introduced in the second year, and I personally experienced that this topic, which is actually very important from the computer networking course perspective, which was missing in the curriculum. So I thought, let's have an expert talk on it, and I really found a good resource to uh, arrange this expert talk. So I'm really thankful to Rajiv sir for accepting the invitation. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. And I'm also thankful to all the students who are patiently listening him and for interacting. I know that there are thousands of questions in their mind, and I'm pretty sure that, sir, your email box will be soon full with the questions of my students.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Thanks
sir.
a
No
lot,
problem.
everyone. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining this meeting. Thanks a lot to Rajiv sir. Thanks a lot to all the students and the head of the department, Dr. V.R. Sonali sir. So with this, I conclude that this expert talk is over. Thank you, Rajiv sir. I can.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir, for giving me opportunity to interact with your students. Thank you so much, NDMEP College, for giving me this opportunity, and hope student will definitely enjoy the session. And thank you so much, all the students, for patience listening. Lastly, I'd like to thanks the head of department, NDMEP College, and special thanks to Nitin sir for giving me the opportunity. Once again, thank you and have a good day, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, I would like to add the last statement that, sir, even this message packeting, which was I came to know today from you, sir. I was not knowing about it. I taught this computer network 8 years back, but that time even I didn't study this topic, message packeting, message type, that topic, that new technique you have introduced to our student as well as to me as well. So thanks for it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
You
sir. Thank you, sir.
you
And sir, that means the last request to everyone, whatever presentation is there in JetKing, those who want to make your career in computer network. So all of you just listen whenever you are having time. Okay, two versions are there. One is Hindi version and another one is the English version. जो language आपको comfortable रहेगी उसमें आप सुनिए. They have covered from basic to the advanced part. ओके फ्रॉम दैट आपको बहुत अच्छा नॉलेज मिलेगा और इसमें करियर जिनको बनाना है नेटवर्किंग के अंदर so they can make a beautiful career in that. Thank you, sir. So
Sir,
much.
definitely, sir, definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing that material. Or I'm very confident कि I have identified some students that they are really they really want to make their career in the computer networking. For them, this resource will be definitely useful. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Now, I would request all the students that immediately after this talk, I have shared the feedback form on our group. So kindly fill that feedback form till the today evening. Thank you, everyone. Now we can exit this meeting. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raju, sir. Thank you all.